Hi, everyone. Dave Colasera here, Homesight Home Inspection Services. We're on another Homesight Insight, and today I'm excited to be with Tiffany Drahonovsky.
Yeah, you got
I
it.
said it,
Nice job.
but nobody has a problem with that name, right?
I go by Tiff just because it's
Tiff
a lot easier.
Drahonovsky.
Yeah.
If you say it enough, it comes off, just flows off the tongue. So, thanks for coming in and chatting with us a little bit.
Mhm.
I don't know much about your company, so when we kind of arranged this, it was an opportunity and kind of exciting for me to know what this is because you're a real estate agent,
Mhm.
but you work in kind of a different way.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Tell me about that.
It's a really specialized niche. What we do is very fun. And when I initially tell people I'm a real estate agent, they are always like, "Oh, great! I know Aunt Betty or Sue wants to sell a house or buy a house." Like, yeah, I don't really want to. I don't really
You
want
wanna
that
do
type of
that.
business. They're like, what? What do you mean? Because real estate agents, if they do the job well, they typically do well. And I want to do that too, but I work in a really specialized niche. So I work with fair deal home buyers, and we are house flippers. So I have the fun, very interesting job of seeing houses when they're in really rough shape, when people didn't take care of them, when
Right.
nature decided to get in there with some water, and water does horrible things to houses
Oh
if you
yeah.
don't take care of it.
Oh yeah.
And gosh, it is a cold, cold winter day here. So I'm really hoping other people aren't fraught with like pipes bursting or things like that. I've been through that too. So
That's not fun.
no, it's horrible.
Terrible.
Horrible. So, fair deal. We work with properties that are distressed very oftentimes. Most of the properties that we purchase have basement issues, roof problems, all kinds of crazy things, walls falling in. Sometimes they're historic properties, and then they need special attention if they can be restored. And sometimes you may be held accountable to different things.
Yes,
you
if
have
they're
a
a historic property, yes.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ballgame there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So this niche is really fun because I get to see some amazing properties, and I often get to see them after they're flipped as well. So many times we are flipping the houses, and we have our contractors out there. They're actually getting the dirty work of pulling out the carpet and taking down the walls and painting it up. It's fascinating to see how fast you can really go with these type of projects.
Right.
So if we're not doing that ourselves, we often partner with other investors in the community. But the big part of what I do is I work to build a network of cash buyers and investors who are looking to get into house flipping, whether it's a buy and hold investor who's looking for a property that you would rent out.
Okay.
Sometimes properties are almost rent ready. They just need to be cleaned up a little bit.
Sure. Just like spruce it up a little bit.
Yeah. We want to provide the nicest living accommodations we can because we find that that brings the best rent, which is part of the game, but also the best tenants. And we want to have good relationships with our tenants and keep them for a long time too. So
you flip them and then you keep them.
sometimes
Okay.
we flip and then we sell them.
And so, excuse me for interrupting, but so you have a team of people
Yes.
that do this, but then you're open to outside investors to participate as well.
Mhm.
And is it at like whatever level you feel comfortable investing in?
Oh gosh, there's so many different situations.
So you like partner with the investors. Maybe there's like a half deal depending on what the situation is.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
sometimes we have a property that's really far out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense for our guys to drive up there and work all day long and then give them room and board and all that kind of thing. You're losing your margin.
Sure.
So it sometimes makes sense where the property is, or if there's a special need of the property, if we have an investing partner who has guys on their team that does that, if he's got a master tile man and it makes more sense for us to partner on the deal, we bring the asset and he brings the crew and we partner on the money. Sometimes one guy brings the money and we bring the crew.
Sure.
So-
Whatever works.
Yeah, and also we have to factor in where our crews are at the time. So we have a couple projects going on right now in Kenosha, and we almost always have properties in Milwaukee. Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha are our bread and butter where we can have consistent opportunity to work. But if everybody's down in Kenosha, it just doesn't make sense for them to drive all the way up to Milwaukee on the north side to do that. So we try to partner where we can get the best bang for our dollar with our labor as well as our assets and the partners that we work with.
Is it any house that is distressed, or will you pass on a house?
Yeah, I'll pass on a house if there's no money to be made. If it needs so much work that it just
It
doesn't.
needs a bulldozer.
we're looking at one right now. And I'm really curious about like where our industry is going to go, because the neat thing is we have this asset to work with, and many times you do take it down to the studs and it's just the frame of the house, and you're like, how can I add extra square footage onto this to get a much more marketable product,
Right.
to get a lot more equity in the property. And if there's not room to make a profit after you put in all the rehab, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Correct.
I mean, we still want to beautify, and I take a lot of pride that what we do beautifies neighborhoods and properties so people can enjoy them again.
Sure.
But if it's upside down, I have bills to pay too.
So you actually, I mean, you're I guess working as a real estate agent for Fair Deal, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you looking for investors? You're looking for houses. You're looking for investors. You're kind of like looking for everything.
Yes, but our company is really specialized. So
Okay.
while we're in the niche of rehabbing and flipping, Fair Deal is probably the largest flipping company in southeastern Wisconsin.
Okay.
So most of the time our crews are doing the flipping, but I'm always looking to help other people, because the more folks that we have that are partners in the area, the more cost effective I can be
Connections.
on the projects.
Connections. Sure.
Yeah. Even if for Waukesha to Kenosha, it just doesn't make sense to ship your team. So if we have properties over here, I'm trying to build more relationships. And it usually starts with looking for cash buyers. Who wants to get into this? What skills do you have? Are you good
Sure.
at tile work? Have you done anything? Do you like building garages? It's really fun. You find some people with some interesting skill sets you may not have thought of.
Of course.
But my initiative is always looking for cash buyers in the area where we have our properties and finding out the best way that we can build the deal so that everybody, we'll call it fair deal. We want everybody to have a fair piece of it, So I'm looking for
Okay.
cash
Fair
investors. Yeah. And helping them understand how they can grow into flipping. Because a lot of flipping companies, it is more of a one guy or a partnership.
Right. Right.
So my role is to really look at the properties that we get under contract. I comp them and find out what the neighborhood looks like. I look at the crime areas. I look at what the rehab needs to be in the house and what the potential ARV could be, or the after repair value. That's what you would market it for, what similar houses are going for.
Sure.
So it is often looking on the MLS, the large scope of, okay, this is a 3-bedroom, but if we make it a 4-bedroom, and we can, what does that look like in this pocket of Racine? What does that look like in this pocket of Milwaukee? And it's really fun to see that. And I love the opportunity of meeting new people, investors, who are like, oh, how do I do that? Well, okay, Tiff, how do I get into a house to burr it? And they think that they have to come up with their own funding. So a big part of my role, too, to get additional partners in the marketplace is to educate them. Private money and hard money are something that a lot of folks have never heard of. And it's just like borrowing money for a car. It's just something you factor into the deal. You figure out how much the money is going to cost you from a private money lender, like someone who's in the Milwaukee RIA groups, and they decide, hey, instead of leaving my money sit in my IRA or the stock market, I would like to loan that out to someone locally and mentor them through a project and get what we can get on flipping a property in Milwaukee, because there's lots of properties that need work.
Sure. Sure.
And to
That's
bring them
interesting.
up to par, the market is ridiculously hot. So if you can make a property marketable, and people need places to live. Yes, the COVID has impacted our business, but folks who have to downsize now, I work with people who beautify houses that maybe hadn't been in great shape before. Now there's a great asset in a good school district where this family can afford to live.
Sure.
So it's a big cycle.
Fulfilling.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this?
I've been in this role for almost a year now.
Okay.
COVID kind of brought me here.
And how long has Fair Deal been around?
Fair Deal's been around since 2012.
Okay. And is this like a competitor of like We Buy Ugly Houses type thing?
Yes.
Kind of?
I would say that. So that is a franchise flipping company. So you can buy their marketing and send it out to people who are going through probates, or people getting divorced, or folks that are maybe out of state owners of property here. So we do all that marketing and have lists and ringless voicemails. And then our team is divided up into very specific functions. So we have a lead manager who works with their sellers and understands, what does the property need? Why are they motivated to sell? Is this an avenue that makes sense for them? Because we're buying distressed properties. We're not buying properties that are usually marketable right away. Usually there's a reason the seller doesn't want to deal with it. Often someone in the family has passed on, or someone in the family passed on a while ago and they're still
Holding on to
emptying
the house. Yes, yes.
They can't get rid of all
Yes.
mom's stuff, or they've done 5 estate sales.
They're
They
just tired of it, burned out.
Oh, it's a lot of work.
A lot of hoarders.
You'd be amazed what people collect. So much stuff. So much stuff.
And
Yeah.
how big is the company?
We are 6 people.
6 people. And is this a franchise?
No, we are locally owned.
Okay.
2 gentlemen started the company in 2012. They came over from Israel because they found that land was not appreciating there like it was here. So they have a constituency of friends and family that were able to provide funding and said, hey, if you can find where land can appreciate and you know how to fix it up so that it's something people want to pay money for again, help us do that because we don't have the opportunity here. So it's really amazing to see that they've put in a lot of best practices. Coming from corporate sales America, I love that they follow best practices all the time. So we each have a very functional role. Our lead manager works with the folks who respond to our marketing. You know, why are you selling the house? You know, what shape is it in? How long has the roof been leaking? 20 years? Ooh, okay. Yeah, this is probably a house
Something we need
want.
to know.
Well, that's probably, we like the stinky houses. We like the gross houses. Yeah, I walk in there and it's stinky. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a good one for us. Because we know what to do with it. And so her role is to kind of work with the sellers and understand, does this make sense for our sales team to talk with? And our sales team goes out and actually meets with the sellers in their home or does a phone call and understand what the situation is. And does it sound like a deal that would have room for us after we put in all the work to make it fixed up again?
Right, right.
So we see all kinds of different things in all different areas and see how many different people live.
And how many houses would you see you work on at a time?
Oh gosh. We can have
As many as there are?
5 to 6
Really?
projects going on at a time. Yeah, and that's why it's so important for me to always find new. They start as cash buyers. That's
Right,
kind of
right.
how people are like, hey, I'm kind of interested in getting into house flipping, and what do I do?
And so wait, so they invest then, and then they're actually hands-on then with you? Or are they
No.
just...
So the company started with the constituents giving the partners some dollars to go and figure this out
Right,
in America. So
right.
they have, and they've been building this business. And we've gotten to the point now where they've got really good traction with
Got
marketing.
a system?
Yes, it's
Okay.
all systems.
Right.
And we're always looking at the systems and every situation. Can we get better? What did we learn? And how can we modify what we do so that we don't have that situation again? So when I'm reaching out and establishing new friends in the RIA groups,
Okay.
I'm looking for cash buyers. Who was looking to buy into a house to build a rental portfolio, or who was looking for a house that you could potentially flip? And let me help you understand. First, I can maybe supply you an asset. Maybe there's a house that would be a great fit for this person. I have a lot of people that find me through many different social medias. They're like, Tiff, I just don't know what to get started. I'm not going to give them the one with the basement falling in. That just is a lot.
Yeah.
So a lot of new investors look for what you call a lipstick flip. The house isn't
I'm very
falling
familiar
apart.
with the lipstick flip, being a
but-
home inspector.
Yeah. So probably new carpet, new flooring, paint, change out the light fixtures, the switch plates, fix anything that's not up to par. It's very easy to do different levels of making things nicer.
Sure.
So you could do a fancy laminate to change up the countertops in a kitchen. You can very effectively these days paint cabinets and change out the hardware.
Sure.
And that
sure.
can save you $10,000 in cabinets very easily. So trying to find different ways that we can do that and provide a nice asset for new flippers. And then also connecting them to other resources within the marketplace. If I build a good partner who's got a money source and a couple good guys in tile and basement, and then you got a great painter or you got a great drywall guy, I've got projects all over the place. So if I get good workers who can get a good product down there
Sure.
and do it affordably, and I know what to expect, and that's always what it is. We're always continually building our team in the marketplace of investors to work with so that we can partner with them to move out assets that they can do easily, and we help them grow. And we take on some crazy stuff.
So if you're looking to invest in distressed properties, Tiff is the woman to talk to.
I got him.
Her information is right here. Say your last name one more time.
Drahonovsky.
Drahonovsky. But she goes by Tiff.
Yeah, Tiff. That's easier.
Tiff, thanks for the information. I
Yeah.
appreciate your time, and hopefully you'll be able to connect with some people.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.